Welcome to August 2024 block of the month, and this month we will be making this block, and we're going to be doing 4 of those. So I have a few already completed, so let's go ahead and make one together. Okay, I have all my pieces cut, and so I'm going to start off with the seafoam rectangles and the 2 size squares. And I'm going to divide these 4 in each pile, and we're making mirror image sets. So okay, I have equal piles. Well, I did have, okay, there we go. Okay, we are going to snowball the corners on the seafoam colored pieces using the 2 different size squares. And so you can start by drawing a diagonal line on all the white squares. I have chosen not to do that this time. I'm using the diagonal seam tape on my machine, and I'm going to use that to help me with my lines. Okay, I'm going to orient these like it is in the pattern because I want to make sure that I get them going the correct direction. So we're going to make 4. And with these 4, we are going to start our line at the top left and go to the bottom right. And we're going to do 4 like that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut those apart and line them up again so they're stacked, all going the same way. Okay, and now I'm going to come back with these smaller squares and do this other corner, and it's basically going just the opposite direction then, opposite from this. So again, we're going to do the top left to the bottom right. Okay, then I'm going to stack these up, and then I'm going to do these the opposite way. So I'm going to start with the larger square, and these I'm going the top right to the bottom left. Okay, then I'm orienting these, and then I'm going to put this on this corner, And then my line is going to go top right, bottom left, and it kind of goes the opposite direction of this line. Okay, so then we have 4 units and they're mirror image of the other 4 units. So now we can go ahead and trim those and press. Now we will go ahead and take each of our stacks here and we're going to trim all those seams a 1/4 inch away from that stitch line. So we're just going to take off the extra triangle that we don't need on those corners. And then we'll do that to all the pieces. Okay. Now with our sets, our mirror image sets, we're going to take one set and press just towards the white, and then the other set will press all of those towards the seafoam, and then that will help those seams nest when they meet up together in the block. It only happens a few times, but it does kind of eliminate some of the bulk all being in one area. So on this set of 4, I'm pressing towards the white on both of the little pieces, and then that's what our unit will look like. Okay, I'm going to put a clapper on those. And then this set I'm going to do towards the blue. Okay. I'll put a clapper on those, and that'll just help flatten them out a little bit, and then let's go continue sewing. Back at the sewing machine, I have all my cut pieces laid out on my design board, and I'm just going to scooch that over, and we're going to be assembling 1/2 of our block. Then the other half we're going to assemble in 2 halves, join those, and then put the whole thing together. So this one is kind of tricky as far as laying it out. So you just want to make sure that you're really paying attention to which way the block is going as far as the orientation of those seams. So here we want the solid blue touching the solid white square. So we can sew that. Okay, then the next piece, we want to take one of each and sew them together so that the bigger corner of white is touching and the smaller corners of the white are touching. And then when we put those right sides together, because we pressed in opposite ways, those seams should kind of just nest together. And they do. So then we're just going to sew those 2 together. And then the bottom part, We have another larger square. And again, I'm just checking my orientation. I want the larger blue sewn here, and my diagonal line is going this direction, so we'll sew those two together. Okay. And so on these, the top and the bottom, I'm pressing towards the solid white square. So I'll just give those a little finger press. And then this piece, I think I'm going to go ahead, and that has a lot of bulk where all those meet together. I'm going to press that seam open quick. Okay, so then I press that seam open, and then there is that part of the unit. And then we're going to add the darker turquoise onto this unit. And that is not sized correctly, which tells me, I know this is correct, I think I've miscut this. So I am going to go back and measure this piece and see what's going on with it. All right, I trimmed a little bit off because I did have it not cut accurately. So we are going to line that up and then sew that on. And then here I'm going to press to that solid rectangular piece that we just added. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of line these up, make sure it looks good, and we're going to attach those three together. And so these seams should nest. Okay, and I'm pressing towards the top on that. And then we'll add this bottom piece on. Okay, looks good. I'm going to press towards that solid piece there. Okay, so that's that half of the block is completed. So we're just going to pop that to the side. And now we're going to work on the upper right quadrant. And we're going to start with a larger white square. And then I am going to grab the correct piece so that the seafoam solid part here is touching the white and making sure that's going the correct direction. Okay, so that looks good. And then we have a smaller unit here. And then the mirror image goes here with that on the outside. Okay, so this looks good. So then we'll just do this like a 4-patch. So I'm going to do these two here. Okay, then I'll add this square onto this side. Okay, on these I am going to finger press it towards these solid squares. And then let's put them back in the right orientation. Then we'll join those up like that. So this seam should nest, and then we can just sew that. Okay, so that quadrant is complete. And that's going to kind of go up there. And then let's do that bottom quadrant. And so I'm going to have a larger turquoise square, the smaller turquoise square, and then I'm orienting this so that the seafoam larger part is touching that. My seam and my triangle are going that direction. This one's going that direction. Okay, that looks good. So let's sew that together as a 4-patch. And again, I'm just going to finger press towards the solid square unit. And then we'll nest these seams together and go ahead and stitch this part together. Okay, looks good. I think I'm going to press that towards the bottom. Okay, and now we're going to join these two together. Make sure I have that right, which I do not. So double checking again and again and again. Okay. It is going to go like that. So, all right, let's sew these two together. Okay, that looks good. Then we're going to, I'm just going to kind of press that towards this part, and then now we can add these two halves together. And then these seams should nest because they're opposite. Okay, and let's take a look. Oh, looks good. So I'm going to go give that a really nice press. And then we have to add on a top and a side, but only on two sides are getting something added. The other two are not. So again, we're just going to have to make sure our block is lined up. And then you can kind of see here how these two meet, and then this creates that funky shape. So this looks really cool when it's on the corner of our center big giant medallion snowflake. These all kind of point towards it in the corner. So that's really cool. Just have to be paying attention which way those blocks are turned because they are mirror image pieces, but the look is stunning. So I think it's worth it. Let's give that a press. Now our block is all pressed and I've got it laying like this. So where the darker turquoise is kind of creating this diagonal line, this part here is my bottom. I'm saying this is my top. So I'm going to add the smaller border piece onto the top. So we can just line that up and stitch that on. Okay, and then I'm just going to finger press that away, or finger press that back onto itself, and then I'm going to add the longer piece on the side opposite of the darker turquoise. So it should be touching no turquoise where we're adding that. So I'm going to add that one on. Okay, and I'm going to finger press that, and then our block is complete. So I'll give that a good press, and then we have 4 of these blocks to make this month. Thanks for watching.